Hello, welcome to the Learn English Lab. Today's podcast, English listening practice topic name is How to Expand Your English Vocabulary Daily. All right, word lovers, welcome back to the deep dive. Have you ever felt that thing where, you have this brilliant idea or maybe a really specific feeling, but the words just aren't quite there? Today, our mission is, it's a linguistic adventure, really. We're exploring how you can seriously boost your English vocabulary, taking it from, pretty good to, positively spectacular. And we're not just listing tips. We want to dive into why these things work, how our brains actually hold on to new words, building vocabulary smartly.
That's a really good way to put it.
Yeah.
Because, growing your vocabulary, it's so much more than just sounding intelligent or like you read a lot. A richer vocabulary genuinely helps your reading comprehension. It adds flair and precision to your writing. You get deeper insights into media, and it really empowers you to articulate those complex ideas, sure, but also those subtle emotions. And like you said, it's a fantastic mental workout. Keeps the brain sharp, keeps it curious.
I love that idea of a mental workout, yeah. But for me, I often think of words as like the Lego bricks of communication. Each new word you get is like adding this unique, specialized brick. It lets you build expressions that are just, more precise, more colorful, maybe more powerful. But there's a bit of a catch, isn't there? It's not just having the bricks.
Absolutely. It's about actually using them. Activation. A rich vocabulary isn't just about expressing yourself better. It genuinely sharpens how well you understand other people. And, naturally, it boosts your confidence too, right? Because you feel more equipped for any conversation. Think about it. You could describe your strategy in a job interview as perspicuous, which just means clearly expressed. Sounds great. Or, maybe charm your friends by saying someone has an effervescent personality, bubbly, lively. And knowing words like epiphany, that sudden realization, or maybe something like nefarious, wicked or villainous, these become tools. They don't just impress, they actually help you frame complex thoughts and feelings much more accurately. It's a truer reflection of what's going on inside.
Okay, so how do we actually weave this into our daily lives so it doesn't feel like homework? Let's start right at the beginning of the day. Kicking off your morning with a new word, I find that's like a good stretch for the brain, sets a curious tone, makes learning feel kind of effortless. But what are the best ways to actually make that morning word stick?
Yeah, starting the day like that is smart. One really effective way is using those word of the day apps or websites. Merriam-Webster, dictionary.com, Oxford has one. They give you the word, the meaning, pronunciation, often the etymology, and a sentence. So if the word is, say, ephemeral, short-lived, you see it right there in context. Or you might practice saying cacophony, that harsh sound, or maybe anachronism, something out of its time. The power there is, multiple senses engaged, immediate context. Another way, more hands-on, is the sticky note challenge. Just write the word, meaning, quick sentence on a bright sticky note. Put it somewhere you'll see at the fridge, your laptop. For fastidious, maybe, very attentive to detail, you could write, my cat is fastidious about her grooming. Visual cues, constant exposure, works well. Or if you're more reflective, try a morning journal prompt. Just 5 minutes, try to use the word. If it's ubiquitous, meaning everywhere, you might write about ubiquitous smartphones. That forces active recall, putting it in context. Or simpler still, text it to a friend. You can even set a word alarm on your phone.
Label the alarm with the word like learn serendipity at 8 a.m. When it goes off, look up serendipity, finding something great by chance. Say it out loud. And finally, try to visualize the word. Create a strong mental image. For languid, lacking energy, maybe picture a lazy cat just stretching out. Our brains love images, helps retention a lot.
That's a brilliant set of morning habits, really embeds it right from the start. Okay, so brain energized, the next big gold mine is reading, right? Something most of us do anyway.
Yeah.
How do we shift from just passively reading to actively hunting for words? Like a treasure hunt.
It's all about being intentional.
Yeah.
To really mine your reading for words first, diversify your reading material. Seriously, mix it up. Fiction, like The Great Gatsby, you might find languid or opulent. Science stuff, like Scientific American, maybe gives you paradigm or quantum. Even, social media can throw up interesting words. Maybe nefarious pops up in a thread. Different text, different word pools. That broadens your exposure. Try reading just slightly above your comfort level. Maybe explore one new type of source each week. Second, remember, context is key. When you hit a word you don't know, pause. Try to guess the meaning from the sentence before you grab the dictionary. Like if it says, her decision was utterly capricious, the context might suggest capricious means impulsive or unpredictable. That active guessing strengthens the neural pathways way more than just looking it up passively. Definitely jot down the word, the sentence, your guess in a notebook or an app. Third, highlight and review. If you're reading digitally, highlight. On paper, underline. Scribble the meaning in the margin. Then, and this is important, transfer maybe 2 or 3 words to a dedicated list after you read. Review that list weekly. That's spaced repetition, gets it into long-term memory. So if you highlight obfuscate to confuse, note it down, review it later. Fourth, explore diverse genres. Sci-fi gives you dystopian, sentient. History might have anachronism, venerable. Poetry is amazing for words like ethereal or sonorous. Even comics might find garrulous. Just try a new genre each month. Broaden that exposure. Fifth, read aloud. Actually hearing and saying the words like fastidious engages more senses, helps it stick. You can even record yourself. And lastly, maybe join a book club. Talking about books forces you to use new vocabulary, like describing a character as quixotic. Plus you hear new words from others, maybe propinquity used naturally.
Reading like a detective. Yeah, that sounds way more engaging than just letting the words wash over you. Turns it into an adventure. And speaking of engagement, what about word games? They make vocab building actually fun, don't they? And educational too. I hear they're really effective.
Well, absolutely. Games tap into our natural love of play and competition. Super motivating. Crosswords and word puzzles, things like Wordle or the New York Times crossword, are fantastic. You wrestle with clues for words like lugubrious, maybe mournful, or propinquity, proximity. Challenges your recall. Start easy, work your way up. And definitely look up words that stump you. Scrabble or Words with Friends, those are basically vocab duels. They reward creativity and knowing those high-scoring words. Think quixotic or zephyr. Make it a habit to look up your opponent's words if you don't know them, like xanthic yellowish. Add them to your list. Then you've got dedicated vocab apps, Quizlet, Anki, vocabulary.com. They use flashcards, adaptive learning, really help you master words like ameliorate, to improve, or maybe phlegmatic, calm, unemotional. They're built on learning science like spaced repetition. For a social angle, try group word challenges, play word charades, act out cacophony, or dictionary bluff, where you invent definitions. Laughter helps memory big time. You'll remember garrulous after your friend's hilarious tatty grandma impression. You could even make your own DIY word bingo card with words you're learning. Mark them off as you use them. Gamify it.
Brilliant. Making it social and competitive. I like that. Sneaking learning into fun time. Okay, but here's the thing. A word isn't really yours until you use it, right? So how do we get these new words out of our heads and into actual conversation? Emails, texts, I sometimes look a word up, then totally forget it the next day. How do we fix that?
That's the crucial step, isn't it? Active application. Moving words from just understanding them passively to actually using them actively. First, drop it in conversation. Start sprinkling them in, even if it feels a bit bold at first. If you have a lucky meeting, you say, oh, it was pure serendipity running into you. Start small. Just aim for 1 new word a day, maybe in a low-pressure chat. It forces your brain to retrieve and process it in real time, strengthens the memory. Second, write to remember. Use new words in emails, texts, social media posts. You could post, feeling quite fastidious about my desk setup today. Or email a colleague, let's try to ameliorate this project plan with some new ideas. Writing makes you really think about the meaning and context, solidifies it. Third, try teaching someone else. Explaining a word, say perspicuous, to a coworker actually cements it in your mind. Teaching forces you to retrieve, organize, articulate. You master it better. Fourth, maybe a storytelling challenge. Once a week, write a super short story using, say, 5 to 10 new words. Imagine a story with ethereal, serendipitous, capricious, fastidious, perspicuous, maybe obfuscation. That creative context makes words really memorable. And finally, a fun one. Role play scenarios. Pretend you're someone else, a lawyer, a poet, a wizard. Use your new words in character. This arcane spell will protect us. It's playful, low-pressure practice.
I love the vocab diary idea and the wizard roleplay. Very creative. Okay, now for something a bit quirky, but I know people love it. The word jar. It's like a physical representation of your progress.
It really is. And it's a great visual motivator. Super simple. Grab a jar, box, whatever. Some paper scraps, a pen. Learn a new word. Write it down, word meaning part of speech, example sentence. Toss it in. So for quixotic, you'd write quixotic. Adject, unrealistically optimistic. His quixotic quest. Pop it in the jar. Then maybe once a week, pull out 5 or 10 words. Challenge yourself. Use them in conversation, email, a story. That physical act writing, dropping it in, plus seeing the jar fill up. Really powerful. And you can level it up too. First, decorate your jar. Make it yours, visually appealing. Second, maybe themed word jars. Work words, ameliorate, pragmatic. Creative words, ethereal, sonorous. Daily life words, ubiquitous, fastidious. Categorizing helps memory. Third, create jar challenges. Draw a word, use it 3 times that day. Or have a word jar duel with a friend. Make it interactive. Fourth, track your progress. Just date the slips, seeing how many you've collected over time, celebrating reaching 50, 100 words. It's wonderfully concrete evidence you're learning.
That's so tangible. You can actually see your vocabulary growing. Love that feeling of collecting. Okay, so besides active practice, let's not forget our ears. They're like vocab sponges, soaking things up. How do we optimize listening?
Well, definitely. Listening gives you words in rich, authentic context, tone, pronunciation, rhythm. It's crucial. Start with podcasts. Obviously, wordy ones like The Illusionist or Lexicon Valley, they dig into cacophony syntax. But also shows like Radiolab might use Paradigm, or True Crime Pods might use Nefarious. The key is active listening, though. Don't just let it wash over you. Pause. Jot down words you don't know. Audiobooks are great, too. Fantasy might give you Arcane or Luminous. Business books, incremental. Try following along with the text if you can. Connect the sound and the visual. When you watch TV and movies, switch on the subtitles. A period drama like Downton Abbey, full of fastidious, venerable. Sci-fi like Dune, dystopian, sentient. Subtitles link the sound and spelling directly. Really helps. For music fans, check out music lyrics. Folk, rap, indie, they're often packed with great words. Bob Dylan might give you Ramshackle. Kendrick Lamar, Catharsis. Look up the lyrics, sing along, engages more senses. And finally, public speeches, TED Talks, commencement addresses. They're often full of powerful words used persuasively like effervescent or quantum.
Yeah, I find I pick up words just listening to interviews or documentaries all the time. And technology has just made all of this so much easier, hasn't it? Really supercharged the whole process. What are some key digital tools we should know about?
Oh, it's incredible how much is available now, right? Makes learning so flexible. So beyond the word of the day apps, you've got dedicated vocabulary apps like vocabulary.com. It quizzes you on words like ameliorate or phlegmatic, and it learns what you know, adapts to you. Anki is another big one. You make your own flashcard decks for words like obfuscate. It uses spaced repetition, which is scientifically proven to help memory. Browser extensions are handy too. Vocabulary.com has one for Chrome. Grammarly does this too sometimes. They highlight words on web pages, give you quick definitions, passive learning while you browse. Your voice assistant Siri, Alexa, Google, perfect for quick lookups. Just ask, hey Google, what does ephemeral mean? Or give me another word for capricious. Instant answers reinforces curiosity. Language learning platforms like Duolingo or Memrise often have English vocab sections too, using games to teach words like garrulous or luminous. And lastly, for organizing everything, note-taking apps are invaluable. Notion, Evernote, Google Keep. You can make lists, categorize them, adjectives, verbs, themes, like putting ethereal under adjectives. Makes reviewing much easier.
That's a serious toolkit. Okay, so while we all dream of learning hundreds of words instantly, the reality is setting tiny, achievable goals is what works long term. That consistency seems key. Getting started and sticking with it can be the hardest part, I find.
You are so right. Consistency is everything here. Really, just aim for maybe 1 to 3 new words a day. That sounds small, but it adds up incredibly fast, hundreds, even over 1,000 words in a year. Enough to genuinely change your vocabulary without feeling overwhelmed. So first, track your progress. Log your words somewhere: notebook, app, spreadsheet. Word, meaning part of speech, sentence, like quixotic, adjacy. Unrealistically optimistic. Seeing that list grow is super motivating. Second, celebrate milestones. Hit 50 words, 100, 500. Reward yourself. New book, nice coffee, whatever. Reinforces the habit. Third, adjust your pace. If 3 words feels like too much, drop to 1. If 1 feels too easy, maybe try 5. The goal is consistency, not speed. Our brains learn best with regular, spaced-out exposure. And finally, partner up. Find a vocab buddy. Accountability helps a ton. Text each other your word of the day. Quiz each other weekly, send a text. My word today, languid. What's yours? Makes it social more fun. A little positive peer pressure never hurt.
Building on that consistency, just immersing yourself in wordy places can make it feel so natural. Creating that linguistic ecosystem around you, right? What's maybe an underrated place to find words?
Exactly. Surround yourself intentionally. I think online communities are often overlooked. Dive into X threads, Reddit forums, Discord servers about topics you like: books, science, language itself. You'll just naturally see words like paradigm, anachronism, perspicuous used in real discussions. Try replying using some of your new words. Also, make a point to attend talks or lectures, online or in person. TED Talks, webinars, they expose you to words like effervescent or quantum, often in a more formal, engaging way. Follow word-focused social media accounts at Merriam-Webster, at Oxford Words. They share daily words, cool facts about Zephyr or cacophony. Makes learning bite-sized, frequent. Engage with them. Comment with your own sentence. Lastly, look for language events, spelling bees, poetry slams, writing workshops, online or local. A poetry slam might hit you with sonorous or luminous. A workshop could deepen your grasp of syntax. These force active listening and sometimes participation.
Totally. Yeah. Surrounding yourself works, online or off. Okay, so you've gathered all these words. The final, really crucial piece is making them stick long term. Review and reflection so they don't just fade away.
Precisely. Review is where the long-term magic happens. Just set aside maybe 10-15 minutes each week for a weekly review. Look at your list, your jar, quiz yourself, cover the meanings, try to recall them. Or challenge yourself. Write a quick story using 5 or 10 recent words. Maybe one featuring phlegmatic, epiphany, serendipitous, and ethereal. All right? Definitely use spaced repetition. Apps like Anki or Quizlet are designed for this. They show you obfuscate right before you might forget it. Super effective. Don't be shy, share your progress. Post your favorite word of the week online. This week's word, languid. The heat makes me feel so languid. Creates accountability, might inspire others too. You can even create a word wall. Pin favorites on a corkboard or a digital one. Maybe group them by theme: quixotic, ethereal, fastidious. Visual cues really help memory. And finally, take a moment to reflect on usage, maybe monthly. Think, did I use serendipity this month? Did capricious come up? That awareness helps you see your progress and pinpoint words needing more practice.
Well, there we have it. This deep dive really shows that building vocabulary is, kind of like tending a garden. Needs daily care, some creativity, lots of curiosity. Whether you're sticking words on the fridge, battling friends in Scrabble, or maybe weaving effervescent into a tweet, the key is making it fun, making it personal. It's about turning that feeling of, oh, I wish I had the right word, into this ongoing, joyful journey.
Absolutely. And remember, those small, consistent steps, they really do lead to huge results. Don't be afraid to try out your new words, even if it feels a little clunky at first. Honestly, who doesn't appreciate a well-timed, quixotic, or a really perspicuous explanation? Your vocabulary will grow, and you'll start sounding like a word wizard before you know it.
So what's your first word of the day? We'd love to hear it. And as always, remember to like, share, and subscribe to this YouTube channel.